All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's talk about Uti Nwachukwu. Nwachukwu. Uti, right? Uti. Let's talk about Uti really quickly. Let's make this really quickly. Let's see if we can round up really quickly. Um, Uti is who is Uti? Anybody knows? He's an actor. He's an actor. It's one of our fine actors out of the Nollywood, Nigerian Nollywood industry. These guys, they're the gift that keeps giving, right? But Uti had something to say. He doesn't think men should marry before 40. And in addition to that, I think he thinks you should be checking the phone of your girlfriend, your wives, your partner, right? Right? He's a presenter too. Thank you, Jerry. For those of you that know what's going on ground, he's a presenter on TV, right? He's an entertainer, right? But we know him as actor, right? She is an actor that I haven't watched in a while. That there's been rumors for a long while that he's a gay. That one no concern me, yo. But anyway, I watched him on this Toke Makinwa show. Shout out to Toke Makinwa for this content. We're going to react to it, right? And he had some interesting things to say. I thought we should review it and see if we can learn some lessons from Uti. All of them, they have things to teach us always, right? Is he battling for the same team? It doesn't sound like it, but we can't tell on these videos. I don't think it matters too. That's their personal life. But let's play this video. Let's see.
Business marrying before 40. Comes to every rule.
Okay.
Do you understand? There are some people that monogamy will work for when they are young. But the average person, I've always said, I don't think any man has any business marrying before 40. To me, it doesn't make me right. Between 35 to 40, I'll say 35 to 40.
He said, okay, so he said between 35 to 40. He doesn't think any man have any business getting married before 40. Why is he saying this? Can you guess why he's saying this? What do you think he's saying this? Right? Or it doesn't matter why he's saying it. Is it just true? Let's keep going.
For women, apart from those that are afraid of their biological clock, but then again, how many children do women want these days? And please, there's technology these days too, so what not? I don't think
so. There's technology these days. People can have babies at any age. Janet Jackson, after all, had a baby at 50, right? Right? So is that enough justification to technology? And by the way, are they free? How much is what they call that thing that Mrs. Igodalo used to do? What's her name again? The lady that passed away not too long ago. Last year, like during COVID, right? What's the name of that procedure that they do for people to have babies? She used to advocate. She had like a charity that was doing it for women that had issues with fertility, right? Well, anybody help me in the chat? What is it that they IVF? Thank you, Jerry. Aminata. Shout out to Aminata. I've seen that name for the first time. Shout out to you. Yeah. Is that how much are those things? Are they cheap? Right? There's technology these days. Everybody just wait till 35, right? Right? And also, IVF is 30,000. Is that dollars, Abinera? Dollars. IVF is $30,000. There are 200 million people in Nigeria. Not even most, can 50% of Nigerian women, let's say about 75 million of them, can they afford $30,000 for IVF? Let's say about, most of them are young, right? Can they afford it? Right? Because he's suggesting there's technology. Because there's technology, just wait until that. Now, he's talking about people that should deliberately wait. I'm not talking about people that are circumstances. It just hasn't happened. That's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about people that he's advising, like, you have no business going near marriage until you're 35, 40 if you're a man, or you're 30 years old as a man. Right? Let me guess why he said it. I think he's saying this because as a person gets older, their way of thinking changes. Just my thought. Yeah? That's part of it. That's a nice way to put it, Gome. Right? I think you're saying that because it's over 40, he's not married, particularly. That's not a nice way to say it. I admit. Okay. But as you get older, the way you said it's almost like people are getting wiser. In this topic, not necessarily. I think people justify their circumstances as they get older, right? Including we're more patient, where you don't really have much choice. You realize that like aggressiveness does not open the door. You realize you look at older people, they are calm, they take, they don't they don't whip their grandchildren because they've realized that I can talk to the baby, right? No matter how bad, they have the level of patience. Life has taught them patience, right? Now, that's a nice way to put it. But I've noticed that the older people get, the more they justify that it's okay to wait. And they use talking points like this technology. But are this technology cheap, right? They're not cheap. Also, are there any studies around the health of babies that are being created when you're 45, when you're 50, as a woman, right? What about situations as a man? Is there any studies? Because I'm not sure. I'm asking, but I've seen some things around. I don't really engage all the studies too much like that. I focus on emotions, right? But are the sperm always healthy for men? Are there any studies around the sperm count and how healthy the baby? Are there? Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just asking. Some of you may be healthcare workers or physicians that you know better than I do. Just ask it. If you know anything, you can add to my thought process there, right? But one thing I know is that swimming against the ocean trend is always a bad idea. Okay? It's always a bad idea. There's some things that happen naturally that you should be leveraging to create the outcome you want for yourself. There are exceptions to the rule when it just didn't work out that way. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in general. For example, your strength. If your strength is in certain aspect of life, it's best. You get better results when you leverage your strength as opposed to focusing on your weakness, right? This principle is applicable in every area of life. But let's see what Uti still say.
Any woman should be married before 30. You have to their biological clock. But then again, how many children do women want these days? And please, there's technology these days too. So whatnot. I don't think any woman should be married before 30. You have to experience life as a single. You have to weigh your options and all of that. For me,
he said you have to experience life as a single. You have to weigh your options and all of that. Okay. So when does the singlehood start? It starts when you move out of your parents' house, or it starts at 18 or 21? Which one? I'm asking. Let's agree on something. When does singlehood start? Does it start at 18, 21, or when you move out of your parents' house? There's a lot of men that are still living in their parents' house at 28, 29, 30. All right. So, hey, it is what it is. Everyone's circumstances is different. They have their reasons why they're still in that position. I'm bossy. How much more? Women, right? Women are expected to live in their parents' house until they marry, right? When does the singlehood start? Because he's not saying just men, he's saying you need to experience singlehood, right? I can see the upside in what he's saying. I see the upside to it, right? As in, like, know yourself. Self-discovery, right? There's no such thing as self-discovery outside of relationships, by the way. But anyway, topic for another day. But let's say that you're coming out of a situation where you don't know yourself. I agree that there's probably self-discovery outside of relationship for you, because frame of reference, right? Frame of reference is key here, right? But there's a lot in what he's saying. He's oversimplifying it at best. Let's keep on.
Leave the spiritual contract out of it. The same way I would say leave a government contract out of it, because marriage is a contract between you, me, and God. The same way
when you say leave spiritual.
So marriage is not a contract. People keep saying that. It's not. People that tend to say that They're coming from a particular standpoint, a mindset, right? As a fact of fact, yes, that you will sign a license, a marriage license, between you, the other person, and the government. But in reality, it's more of a covenant. Contracts by definition have a consideration to it, a price, and they have a term, right? That means there's a period of time. Oh, but the period is till death do us part. Well, that's not term. Like even when you're talking about term life insurance, that's not term. Term means term. A period of time, regardless if you're here or not, it's term. You set a time, right? Till death do us part. That's no longer a contract. That's more so a covenant. Even by way of definition. Forget definition, right? In reality, right? So there's no amount of time you call marriage a contract that will make you escape the work you need to do to learn how relationships work. It has become a talking point to avoid the important work that's necessary for your own good, not even for the other person, for your own good, to learn how to give in relationships, learn seduction, learn power, learn attraction, learn emotional intelligence. There is no amount of time you call marriage a contract that will negate the magnitude of how much you need to engage emotional intelligence as a lifetime student. You can try to turn this to exact science all you want. Every time it will fall on his face.
Adding God to it.
No.
Hello.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Between me and you for this
leave
earth.
contract, leave agreements. Leave agreements.
Yeah.
If you don't want to commit to somebody, don't make it official, whether in presence of God, whether in the presence of the government, whether in presence of your family. Once you agree, see, integrity is integrity. There is no excuse. I'm zero tolerance for, that's why gray area is hard for me.
That's why he's single. Gray area is hard for him. Everything is black and white. Okay? That's a big deal. It's a mindset. It drives everything, how you move in life. When you say gray area is hard for you, black and white, it's another way of saying my tolerance level is not where it needs to be. Right? It's either you're on my side or you're not on my side. There's no stories. Don't tell me stories. Yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Right? It's a mindset. Right? And with that mindset, you will end up in McDonald's.
You will end up in McDonald's.
Okay?
You think say they wise?
They say they wise. Anyway, that shit's expensive, bro. Your account go empty. Yeah, like unless it's circumstantial, no one should be talking about technology when it comes to natural gift that God has given us. If it's circumstantial, I love technology. You can't love technology more than me. Okay? But when we turn up to talking points, we have a problem. I thought it was 10K, Chineke, 10K itself, gonna collect $50,000 in my state. Yes, it depends on your location, obviously. I think it might be even cheaper in Nigeria. Because what's her name? Ibukun? Igodalo. Pastor Igodalo's wife. What she was doing is helping people raise money for that. It's not your mate now. IVF is not your mate. Actually, IVF is a whole lot cheaper in Nigeria than USA. Exactly. Okay, it depends on your location, right? In Nigeria, it's between 2.5 to 5 million naira. Majority of human beings in Nigeria have never seen a million naira. Right? Even though it's of no value. Leave matter, there are 50-year-old irresponsible men. True. It's irrelevant to me, Ola. He says it casually because he's not seriously trying to wife. It's not. If he finds wife, he will wife. It's not finding wife. It's not attracting a wife. That's what it is. I don't think anybody just not want to marry. They're not finding a wife. He that finds a wife finds favor, isn't it? Right? So if you want wife and you just choose it, no. That's cat big time. If you don't want to be married, that's a different topic entirely. But you want to be married, and no, I found some wife. It's just that I'm not ready. No, no, no. It's cat big time. Okay. A lot of people leave the USA and go to Nigeria for IVF. That's a very educational point to make, Princess, by the way. Just in case you find it too expensive and circumstances says that there's infertility issues, you might want to consider that. I think there's a lot of very brilliant medical practitioners in Nigeria, by the way. You just have to ask around. Cameroon in particular, that video of that guy who was treated for cancer, another YouTuber guy, I forgot his name now. That was a very inspirational video about how there's some smart, very intelligent people in Nigeria. Cameroon in particular is less than 10K and it's effective. That's a good one. That's a good one. See how this is leading into some good stuff. You need all the strength and energy in raising these children. Exactly. Thank you for saying that. See, I knew somebody was going to help me out with that. Let's see what's going on here with my signals. What is going on with my signals? Come on, let's get the signals up. Let's get the signals up. Come on, Xfinity. What's going on? Let's see. Let me see here. Anyway, now can you guys still hear me, by the way? Looks like my signal is low for some reason. Did I stress out my internet? These people. Okay, we should be good now. You need all the strength and energy in raising these children, all the talking, all the firmness. When you're older, you won't have that strength to be dealing with them. Yes. Some people say you get wiser the older you get more mature. Listen. Yeah, go follow. You also need a level of being able to grow with your children. You need to be young enough so you can grow with your children. Ideally. If that's not your circumstances, it's okay. You learn how to play with the cards you're dealt. But don't buy into just wait for no reason. No, don't buy into that. Okay? You don't have to. Okay? You need to be able to grow with your children at some level. Let me look at what's going on here with this signal, just to make sure I'm not talking to myself. Let's see. Okay, you can hear me. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. I needed to see that. Okay, we already said that. Chia, you can shout that again. I have seen some 50s men behaving like 16-year-old. Yeah. So, wait until you're 50 so you're matured. No, there's actually a good chance that you're not maturing fast enough, and that's why you're 45 and 50 not married, especially if we're talking about a man. There's actually an extremely good chance that it's because you're not mature enough, that you're not attracting what you want. Remember, I'm talking about people that want it, okay? There's a good chance, okay? Just a chance. It's not an absolute, okay? Something to pay attention to. Older fathers have a higher risk of producing children with learning difficulties. I don't know what age older is yet. That's the point I was trying to make. I think I've read that somewhere before, right? Thank you so much for that, Marriott. And no, it's not 10K, but it's cheap in Nigeria. Okay, all right. In Nigeria, it's cheaper. That makes sense because most people can't afford it if you make it too expensive. Here, insurance to pay for it, so it makes sense that it's $30,000 here, right? Insurance. Does insurance pay for that? Maybe not. Okay, maybe some types of insurance products can pay for that, right? Healthy sperm depends on lifestyle, not necessarily age. Some young men living an unhealthy lifestyle don't produce healthy sperm. That's a good point. That's a variable that does not necessarily negate the age part, right? Because people, like for example, people that die at 95, they just didn't die. They've been dying for a long time. You get that gist? The body dies over a long period of time, right? So two things can be true at the same time. So if you say age, is that a fact that it's not affect? Like if you are 60 years old on an average, or all 60-year-old, they produce effective, healthy sperm always. Is that what you're saying? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I am struggle streaming a little bit, but we can manage. I don't know what's wrong with this people. Anyway, yes. Success chances depends on age. There are life with Natu. There are cheaper clinic now so that's for women, right? Cheaper clinic now for self, but even if you are going to Nigeria to spend 10k, it is still expensive. Even if you're spending 2 million, 1 million in Nigeria, that's expensive for an average person, right? Why am I saying this, right? I see his heart. Hey, don't give up on yourself. I agree with that 100%. I'll say that here as much as I can, but I also want to make sure I'm bringing some holistic point here, right? Not just pandering to how to make you feel better, right? If you are a woman or a man of a certain age, right, you gotta pay attention to what you're attracting. You gotta pay attention to the options available. I don't agree you should ever settle for less, okay? But I also want you to engage how you define value, right? I want you to engage how you define value so that you're not shooting yourself on the legs, right? If in fact what you're looking for is to do life with somebody at some point, just something to be aware of. And you're absolutely right that not everyone is designed to be married or prepared to be married or needs to be married or wants to be married. You're right about that part. It's just not relevant to what we're talking about. I kind of agree with him in a way. I have noticed that people who get married late tend to get along better. Maybe it's maturity. Yeah, it's not. If you have stats to back that up, actual stats, I will be willing to assess it. But like you said, that's just your anecdotal experience. Okay. I think everybody that enter marriage will collect woto. Before it gets better. Okay, marriage will test everything you believe in. You will enter crisis. You're not gonna know what's happen to you. You go question compatibility. You go question you married the wrong person. You will question vetting. You will question everything. Okay, it has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with the idea that you're bringing another human being to your world. It's friction is going to happen. The older you get, I can tell you for free, the less the level of tolerance you're able to accord or grace you're able to give, because you're used to being alone. You're used to not having to compromise, right? Right? Now, is that an absolute? It's not an absolute either. So in marriage, you have to leave room. In marriage, in parenting, you have to leave room to be able to grow with the other person. You don't come into it, say, I'm known, with the mindset that I just know enough that we just avoid. No. You're not going to avoid it. Some people are going to be greater than others. What some people can handle is greater than others. But crisis is going to happen. And that's not a bad thing. That's how you're going to come out on the other side, becoming what people like, wow, that's a fine human being. The level of personal growth you get in marriage, you can't, no matter how long you wait, you're not going to get it. Okay? That's why you will see some young married people that tend to be wiser than. Why? Because they don't see. Would you want to conquer? All right. So, but there's no absolute, just something to consider, right? Young foolish people who don't want to learn become older foolish people with no get sense. You see, exactly. Especially if they continue to stay single, right? Especially if they are right all the time. They like, no, I will never. That's telling you something, right? It just depends. Story to story, person to person. Time is not our mate. That's why I want us to keep remembering. Time will be your mate. If it's circumstances, that's other factors and variables in life. But time is not our mate. We need to stop telling ourselves that time is just waiting. That doesn't mean you should rush into anything, because if you rush into stuff, you might end up spending longer term, okay, than you need to. Let me see if I can put this on the so we can have a better experience, so you can see, because it looks like my face is getting blurry and blurry and blurry thanks to stupid Xfinity. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with them? Let's put this on. There you go. So you can have we can round up with a better experience. All right, let's see here. I'm just reading to your, we're rounding up. I'm just reading to your comments. When you move out of your parents' house, is that when singlehood starts? Hey, that's that now. Allow. I think officially it starts at 18, because they're gonna ask you once you become an adult, are you single or you're married, or, and you can't claim a child just because you can't claim to be a child just because you're living with your parents, right? Right? You're not able to do that, right? Anyway, doesn't matter. Your sarcasm is off the chain. My sarcasm is bad. It's very, very bad. You know, you'll be wondering where I get all this. I tell you, it's a relationship poison, and I still mean that, right? It's a relationship poison. Be careful between you and your partner when you, especially, again, like I said in that lesson is coming up as a video later on. If it's banters, you're talking, you know, you can see the other person on the same page with you, but sarcasm can become, it's a poison. It's a relationship poison. Be careful with it. Be careful with it. So let's see. We have 40 years old babies, so see, exactly. But you know, again, generally speaking, this is the part where I say, hey, age is also experience. Wisdom is a function of time. Age, aka age, right? So it just depends on what we're talking about. That's why we need to we can't generalize too much. We need to assess issues case by case, right? Case by case. Life will absolutely. I'm actually of the school of thought of early marriage if the people involved are mature. Yes, if they're mature enough to want marriage. I personally prefer to be 25 and above. Okay, if they're mature enough, if you find a wife, you find a husband at 25. Engage it, learn everything you can learn about romantic relationships, because you're not God. I'm just gonna let this go. God will provide another one. You're not God. Stop it. Okay, don't do that. But there's other arguments. I would argue that maybe you just don't like that person enough. I think when people find a wife, they engage it. I think when people find a husband, they engage it. I think there's multiple moving variables. So we can't judge too much. We just have to assess it case by case. It's still an agreement. On paper, it's an agreement. As a mindset, if you're thinking of it as agreement, you go collect. Okay, that's where you start to play fairness game, and everyone is always fair, like something is fair or not fair, or they are the fairest of the two. As a mindset, you will collect. Okay. As a fact of life, is you have to sign a paper, you know. But even if you look at certain cities around the United States, at least, they call it a covenant. It's not a contract. It's not a contract. A covenant, it involves life and death. Okay? It's not something as simple as, oh, we can just disconnect. Well, people are disconnecting. You see where it's ending them up, right? That's why you are still single and available. Please tell him. Tony, I was nicer than that. Come on. Yes or no? Life doesn't work like that. There's a need to be a little bit open-minded. Always keep an open mind. Exactly. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, you can hear me earlier. Insurance pay in some states in the USA, yes. And I think it depends on what type of insurance product, right? Insurance doesn't. Yeah. If insurance is paying for that, it can't be some kind of it can't be anything close to welfare or your job is paying for it. It must be you're paying some kind of extra premium for that. Insurance do pay in some states. Make sure you verify with your insurance. States like New York do cover IVF. Please do. Okay, all right. That's a good point. You just never know, right? Maybe the law has changed. I did mine in New York about 12 years ago, not covered by insurance. Wow. So it depends on the product too, right? That your company purchased for you and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things we don't know, and the insurance companies take advantage. Okay, that's a good point to ask around. Wow, that's good because that stuff is expensive. Yeah. That's good to know. I'm not 100% sure that it's covered. Yeah, if it's that expensive, there's a good chance that your typical insurance will not cover it. You know, insurance is a business and they want to maximize profit, even more so. Okay. You want to see my face? Okay, I think you can see my face now because the internet is back a little bit stronger. I just didn't want the video to look funny later on. Let's see. All right, there you go. It's better, right? Yeah, the internet was acting out of character, so it was all blurry. Let's see here. So very, very expensive. I had some friends that end up going to Mexico and the Bahamas. Lots of people going to South Africa. So think about, even not just, if you're not paying with money, you're paying with kind. You're paying with some kind of effort, some kind of inconvenience, right? If you can do it naturally and grow with your partner, why would you want to do it another way, the other way around? Like, why? Why would you want to do that? Why? Because people are struggling in the dating scene and they're looking for easy route out. They're looking for talking points, black and white talking points to escape the real issue. And it will work. It's not going to
I'm
work.
going to ask you this before I let you go. Has anyone, any lady ever tested, or has your partner ever tested your loyalty? And if they have, share with me what they used to test your loyalty and how you know,
Reaction.
did they cheat
If
on
they
you? Did they?
Oh, do you mean by that?
Yeah, like loyalty. I
I've
mean,
forgiven
I'm loyal-
cheating.
Wait. Don't say it. Did he say it already? Can anybody guess what happened to Uti? Anybody want to guess what happened to Uti before we round up? I don't want you to be judging or prejudging people around, but I just want you to be able to see some things from afar. Okay? At least you know what you're dealing with. You know, you understand humans better. The way everything I say to you on this platform is a function of my filters. Things I believe in. You should never take them as absolutes. You should process them yourself. Okay? Assess it and then learn application to your personal life. Right? Anybody want to guess? You don't collect, right? Uti collect, right? Anybody want to guess before I play the rest of it? I'm rounding up. I think you guys heard that.
He shock you.
I think you heard it. Somebody's about to cheat. Anybody heard that part? You didn't hear it, right? I stopped it. I think I stopped it ahead. I think it was about to tell us. Right? Has anybody taken advantage of him or something like that? That question. Anybody? Let's go back a little bit.
If they have, share with me what they used to test your loyalty.
Have they tested his loyalty? She's trying to ask if he don't chop breakfast woto be full. Anybody want to guess? Now I'll guess. Why are you laughing now? Right? Anybody want to guess? Okay, let's not guess. Let's not prejudge people. Don't go around prejudging people, because even that one you'll collect. Let's keep going.
And how you
Reaction.
did they cheat
If
on
they
you?
did-
Did they?
Oh, do you mean by that?
Yeah, like loyalty. I
I've
mean,
forgiven cheating. I've forgiven.
He's forgiven cheating. He even jumped ahead. He said, not only have I chopped breakfast before, I've even forgiven it. Listen, the longer you wait
I've forgiven.
and you're being choosy or picky out there, the higher the chance. Listen, you're a human being. You go do career while you go engage people in romantic ways. When you're playing, I'm just taking my time. I will never accept anything anyhow. If that's a function of how you value the valuable things in life, you go collect. You will chop breakfast. But anyway, afterward, it's not a big deal because last, right? You don't cast. Everybody go chop breakfast. Everybody must chop breakfast, right?
and cheating. Yeah,
How
that's
did you
the
catch-
thing.
how
The
did you
mumu
catch her?
phase. Phone now.
You went through her phone?
Yes,
That's
why won't
invasion of
I?
privacy.
Yeah,
Why are
I
you gonna-
agree, but it's good. If I didn't, I would have been going through an ugly marriage now. I went through it because everything changed. Body language changed, unnecessarily defensive, treating me like if I was being too interested in what they were doing. I'm like, something is up.
So you knew her and a particular guy were getting closer?
Yes.
Okay.
I did, because when I traveled, all of a sudden, I met your friend at a club. He's
He
a
was your
nice guy.
friend?
Yes. He's always the friends now. He's always the friends. The enemy is always inside the house. So I was just like, I don't understand. Where's this new friendship? I started guilt tripping me. So I can't have male friends. Why must it be my friends? Say, you're so paranoid. You end up pushing everyone against you. Blah, blah, blah. Pushing everyone away from you. I say, wow. We had each other's passwords. Right?
Have I ever smashed?
So yes, I opened the phone and I saw it. Hello, sunshine. Hello, darling. I'm like, why are you calling him sunshine? Why are you calling him darling? Do you even call me sunshine?
Why are you still friends with your guy?
That, my friend. Of course not.
Okay.
Why would I be friends
Because
with
then
that
I'd
kind
have
of
been like, your
person?
loyalty was one-sided. Both of them had to go.
No, but then I forgave that on 2 occasions with the same person. It was after the second time, and that's why I'm saying that. And I was 35 then. And that's a very sensitive age for both men and women. At that age, you're willing to settle, you're weighing your energy from your 20s.
Yeah.
With the experiences of life, you are no longer as strict as you used to be. You're trying to tolerate some of the things, all that you were saying. You're trying to learn to tolerate and to be more forgiving. And you're like, you've learned that life is not so perfect. No relationship is perfect. So you end up tolerating a lot of BS. So I forgave the first
I'm
time.
going to say this about your ex. I applaud her because she's a strong woman. If a man catches me,
All right, let's leave it at that. I think we've heard enough. Okay. I think his situation is circumstantial. It is what it is. It's becoming more and more of a thing, and we have to engage it and talk more. We need to keep having a conversation. If you're noticing it everywhere, it's time to talk about it. It's not just we can't keep saying circumstantial. We have to talk about it. We have to we need to engage what could be the issue at a personal level, right? Because it's dangerous to start to say everybody should just wait till 35, 40 as a way to solve the problem. That's not going to solve the problem. You have to start. You're going to have to start at ground zero like everybody else. No matter when you decide to marry, you have to start at ground zero like everybody else. You'll be tested. It might be more difficult for you. A lot of things are going to be more difficult for you, like the biological aspects of these things will be more difficult for you. The emotional centeredness, tolerance level, that's going to be more difficult for you. Wisdom don't come from lack of experience. It comes from it comes from experience. Wisdom, right? Wisdom comes from experience. Maturity comes from age, but that's just one of the variables. It also comes from experience. Failing. That's why the idea that everybody go chop breakfast is not necessarily a bad idea. Failure is where you gain wisdom, you gain maturity, you learn more. But if you're not playing in the game, if you're hanging out on the sidelines and you're observing the worst and the worst of the stories that the internet has to offer, you will end up in the poto. And then the work you have to do will be that much greater. Mario says again, he doesn't want to wife anyone. I think he would like to wife someone. I think he's afraid. Men are the gatekeepers to marriage. Want for now. No, there's no such thing as no one for now. It doesn't exist. He doesn't want. Maybe he's afraid. Yes, you could say that. But for now, the for now part, remove it. If he finds a wife, as far back as 10 years ago, he will be wifing it up, right? If he's capable. And like he sounds like he just said, right? He was weighing marriage at one point and then breakfast like that. It doesn't matter how strong of a human being you are. That would tamper with everything you believe in, right? To mess with you. It's a very difficult it's a very difficult thing for us to get. The closer we get into the individual, the closer to accuracy. We're just generalizing we're speculating a little bit here, right? But I think there's a lot that he said that aligns with my rhetorics, right? The first thing he said that I don't see gray area. Well, that's when people are trying to solve emotional issues with exact science, they will start saying things like I don't see gray area. But the yellow one there, it won't end well, you know. In terms of you just waste time. At some point, you will need to engage the fact that relationships, romantic relationships, dating, marriage is 100% a move of faith. There's no way around it. And if you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust your self-development efforts, it makes sense that you are afraid of everything external. It makes sense. So on your way out, do me a favor. Hit that. I think Atibi is covering Mr. Ibu tomorrow. I will be engaging that. I want to see her point of view on that. You know. So we will see. Strong rumors have it that he swims the ocean of Igigi view. Where's smoke? There's smart. We don't know. So there are deeper issues than he's wanting to. That's what I'm saying. There are deeper issues anyway, you know. And all you have to tell me is that you see life as black and white, no gray area. Before I know that, brother is being emotional, sisterly is being emotional. They see life as yes, no, blah, and they are actively trying to push against the idea that life is a spectrum, rainbow, all different types of colors. And when you have a problem with that, you try to solve that problem by saying, "Oh, let me just tell myself it's black and white." Now lie, you go collect. Yeah, he's afraid. The longer you wait around, the more afraid you're gonna get. You're gonna have experiences that are not favorable. Especially if you've been solving that problem by calling things black and white. And every time somebody don't fall into that black and white box, you resent. You resent, and then it just gets worse. You know, it just gets worse. So, what's the ultimate solution here? This. Relationships, you're going to need these skills, regardless if you're in a romantic relationship or not. You're going to need them. Power, seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence, patience, love. Never mind marriage. Marriage is a function of your understanding of all these things. Okay? Once you understand that, you'll be fine. You can download the books. These books, www.loveandprestige.com. All right? Go download the books. Okay? They're free PDFs, and they're also available in other versions. And if you want to take all these things to a little bit closer to individual level, you can engage our coaching programs at lolaandola.com/coaching. Okay, they're available there. They're very affordable for people who mean business, and no, they're not free because we are hands-on. It involves our personal time, and we'll literally become your accountability partner, and we strategize together and plan 3, 6 months, 1 year out to your desired outcome. All right. Don't forget to join the Prestige family on WhatsApp, lolaandola.com/WhatsApp. If that doesn't work, you can use this phone number, only WhatsApp text messages. Hopefully, you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.